Imagine pouring your heart, time, and money into a business, only to watch someone leech off of you like a parasite, taking your trust, your resources, even your car, and driving away without a second thought. What would you do if that person ghosted you, lied to your face, and thought they'd never get caught? Well, I had other plans. Because when Super Bowl Sunday came around, so did karma, with a satisfying twist of bolt cutters, garage doors, and justice served straight to his smug face. If you've ever been taken advantage of, underestimated, or lied to by someone you gave a second chance, then smash that like button and subscribe. Because this isn't just a story about a stolen car. It's about stolen trust, cold revenge, and one man's mission to take back what was his. And believe me, it gets really good. Back in 1991, I was living in Southern California, running a modest logistics company with my now ex-wife. The business was just getting on its feet. See, I had sold my share of a much larger specialty logistics company and was under a non-compete clause. So this new venture, it was supposed to be a fresh start, something small, manageable, outside my restricted industries. We were hungry for new clients. I knew we needed someone in sales, someone who could talk the talk and walk the walk. That's when I remembered Clive. Clive was an old acquaintance. He had charisma, contacts, and most importantly, he wasn't bound by any of my non-compete clauses. He worked in electronics transportation. It was perfect, or so I thought. We offered Clive a pretty decent deal. Salary, a company car he could use personally, gas covered for weekends, and we'd even pay for his lunch. All we asked in return was that he insure the car himself. Fair, right? The first week was gold. Clive landed 3 clients. It wasn't enough to break even on his costs, but it was a promising start. I thought we'd struck gold, but as the weeks went by, nothing. No new clients, no follow-ups, just long lunches, office flirting, and whispers about golf games instead of meetings. By the 3rd month, reality hit like a slap. It became clear Clive's big start was just a smokescreen. Those 3 clients? Old friends he likely pulled favors from. And now, even they were ghosting us. Clive? He wasn't even pretending anymore. I tried to keep things professional. I called meetings, offered help, suggested leads. I wanted him to succeed. I needed it, actually, but it was like shouting into a void. Then, in one last attempt to salvage the situation, Clive told me he had 2 hot leads almost closed. He even gave me their names so we could run credit checks. But instead of excitement, I felt dread. Because I'd heard this exact script before. And like clockwork, he vanished. Clive stopped showing up to the office. Okay, sure, he's in sales. Field work. Makes sense. But then, he stopped answering phone calls. Stopped returning pages. Nothing. And then I found out he hadn't even insured the damn car. Which meant that company vehicle with my name on the title was uninsured in God knows where. It was reckless. It was dangerous. It was personal. We finally managed to get him on his home line. I stayed calm. Told him he had 2 weeks' pay coming, but the car had to come back immediately. He agreed. Said he'd come by the next day to return it. Of course he didn't. Not the next day. Not the day after. No calls. No contact. At that point, I was done with second chances. 4. Turning point, planning the payback. I called the police and explained everything. But since I had willingly let him use the car initially, they said it wasn't considered stolen. Yet, he had 30 days before they could take action. 30 days. 30 days of liability, risk, and sheer rage building inside me. Then came a twist of fate. Super Bowl weekend rolled around, and I heard through mutual friends that Clive was throwing a big party at his condo. You know, enjoying himself, with my car still missing. I drove by the condos and scanned the area. No car in sight, but something told me it was close. 5. Execution, bolt cutters, and justice. Clive lived in a condo complex with 3 garage units in the back, accessible from the alley. 2 were padlocked. 1 was unlocked. I walked past it, no car, but I knew he was home. I could hear the laughter from his upstairs balcony, his smug voice, his partner's voice. They were right there, above me, unaware. I didn't hesitate. I had brought bolt cutters. The first padlock shattered like a firecracker. Nothing inside, but the noise got their attention. I heard them inside. What was that? Then I moved to the second one, took a breath, clamped down, snap. As the padlock clanged to the concrete, Clive's silhouette appeared in the alley. His eyes locked onto mine. He froze. Then, he turned and ran back inside. I smiled, walked up, opened the garage door. There it was, my car. Exactly where I knew it would be, the getaway and the cops. I had a spare key, slid into the driver's seat like a scene from a spy movie, started the engine, backed out, closed the garage behind me, drove off like I owned the world because technically I did. I took the car to a friend's garage for safekeeping, had my ride follow behind, and went home. About an hour later, 2 police officers were at my door. Clive had reported me. Burglary, he said, but I had the title in my name. I calmly explained everything, that I had retrieved my property, that I needed to get it because it was uninsured, that I left nothing behind but took what was rightfully mine. They glanced at each other. One of them gave me the kind of smile that says, "Off the record, nice job." The gloves I had worn during the job were still in my back pocket. They didn't ask, and I didn't offer. The next morning, Clive returned with 2 cops in tow. He looked angry, embarrassed, and drained of all his usual fake charm. He handed me the other set of keys. I handed him a cardboard box with his junk in it. No words, no croce, just quiet, cold revenge. That moment, when Clive's face turned from smug superiority to helpless embarrassment, was the most satisfying thing I've felt in years. The man who thought he could leech off me, lie to my face, and ghost me, was now standing there, boxed up and escorted like a child after detention. It wasn't about the car, or the money, or even the lost time. It was about respect. It was about being done with being taken advantage of and doing something about it. Not with violence, not with screaming, but with a bolt cutter and a plan. Because sometimes karma needs a little help getting to the finish line. I learned that being too generous with the wrong people invites betrayal. But when that betrayal hits, you get a choice. Stay bitter or get even with class. And a touch of bolt-cutting precision. If this story gave you chills or even a little satisfaction, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or pulled off? I read every single one. And if you want more stories like this, you know what to do. Karma's always watching, and so are we.